See as Yanni just dey sweet for my ear. The Cha Cha Let's Talk music series with Nova. Hey God, conversation with the boss brain.
Oh my
Boss
God.
brain.
Never expected you don't know now, but I'm gonna tell you something.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha Cha Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Cha Cha Let's Talk music series on the Cha Cha Music Review podcast. You already know my name is Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force, and I'm back like I never left. Today is going to be another special day where we'll be having another great conversation with another interesting guest. I don't even need to call her a guest because she's already a friend of the family. She is a certified Cha Cha Geng and a member of the Cha Cha Nation. And the conversation we are going to be having today is like a second part of the conversation we've had before. When I put out the first part talking about the beef that we have in the Nigerian music industry, a lot of you reach out. Shout out to my brother Fresh, shout out to Patlo Kito. A lot of you reach out saying, oh, this episode is incomplete. He didn't talk about this, he didn't talk about that. We need another one. Somebody even suggested that I should have a whole series about the beef in the Nigerian music industry. And who am I not to listen to you people? You people are the reason why I do this. If you want more, then I am going to give you more. So yes, this is more. Let me allow my friend to introduce herself.
Oh, hi. Hello, everybody. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Sadia. I'm a podcaster. I am a scientist and an overall music lover. And Hafiz Nova wants to bring out that gossip side of me, that petty side of me that enjoys the beef in the Nigerian music industry. So let's get digging. Let's talk about the most notorious beefs in the Nigerian music industry.
It's not me that is trying to bring it out, though. It is the other members of the Cha Cha Nation that are trying to bring it out. I decided to do this with you because the first one I put out was with a male person, and I felt, okay, you know what? Let me do this with a female person, and let me have a female perspective on the whole beef. So that's why I said, okay, I know you are very, very knowledgeable when it comes to music. So I said, let me reach out to you. All right, without wasting time, let's go into it. Let me start by first of all asking you, when exactly were you self-aware of beef in the Nigerian music industry?
Not to sound old, but I definitely remember my memory may fail me though, but I think I remember it being around my junior years in junior secondary school. I can't pinpoint which one exactly, but I think it will have to be around the time we had the Rugged Man versus Mode 9 beef, as well as I think Idris Abdul Karim. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not mixing the timeline up, but I definitely recall Rugged Man and Mode 9. Oh gosh. And I definitely recall Idris Abdul Karim. I recall with 50. I recall with who else did Idris do with? Tony Tetula, yeah? Tony Tetula? Yes. Around that time, that's when I started becoming more self-aware and more conscious about music in general. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I have to say, I was one of those people too that was enjoying it at the beginning. But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh gosh, what's wrong with these people?
If there's something they say in the hip-hop world, they say that beef is part of the culture. You can't have hip-hop culture without having some beef in it. And like you rightly said, you've mentioned Idris, you've mentioned 50 Cent, you've mentioned Tony Tetula. And let me just quickly give a backstory so that, like you rightly said, the timeline, so that people can understand the timeline. So the beef between Tony Tetula and Idris started way back, in the 90s. And many people might not know this though, but Tony Tetula started the beef. He was the one that made it a whole thing. Tony Tetula, Idris Abdul Karim, and Eddie Montana were all in the same group called the Remedies. The group started with Eddie and Idris, then Tony joined. But Tony had always been looked at like the one that didn't add talent in the group, right? So he was just there and he wasn't feeling it because they were not giving him chance to, input his own thing into the music. So he splitted, he left them. And when he left, his first major song that he did, which was also like a song that kind of introduced a lot of artists in the Nigerian music industry space. We are talking about Omode Meta Shere Shere O, One Shere Ayo, Omode Meta. That one that Two-Face took, that Two-Face was saying,
I definitely recall.
Yeah, now that song was the beef. The Omode Meta that we're sharing was him, Idris, and Tony Tetula, and Eddie Montana, right? And the song had people like Two-Face, Blackface, which took the first verse of that song and went strictly at Idris. There's also Rough, Rugged and Roll, and they also went hard on it and all of that. And after that, Idris decided, oh, you people are coming for me, Abi. Let me come for you people. And he went to go and do Waka Wiki MC. He took a shot also at all of them. Then Idris also came back with You Don't Eat My Car, you know.
I definitely recall.
and the whole beef like that. Now, the one you mentioned, the 50 Cent and the Idris beef. Would you really call that a beef between 50 Cent and Idris, or a beef between Idris and the Nigerian music industry now, quotes and unquotes? Because if you look at that beef, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if we can classify it as a beef, though. What we can call it is a fight.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure Idris came out to do any diss song for 50 Cent. Neither did 50 Cent even remember who Idris is after that whole incident happened on the plane, right? So from what happened on the plane was the fact that Idris was seated in a seat on the plane. There was a show that they brought 50 Cent to come and perform in Nigeria. And people was like, oh, you can't sit there because that seat is meant for 50 Cent. And Idris was like, I don't understand. For my own country, person can they claim saying the boss and all of that. And there was this fight on the plane and it became a huge thing. But that is also one thing, like you rightly said, that we cannot say we will not mention, because if you look at it, I mean, if you didn't hear about that fight, then probably maybe you were not alive then. But let me ask you this. When that thing was going on, what was on your mind?
This is one story I definitely remember. Like, I remember the story A to Z, because for some reason, I don't know if it's because 50 Cent was involved, that I was particularly so interested in the story, because I followed every information that I found. To be honest, I understand Idris was trying to stand up for himself and maybe the place of the Nigerian artist, because recently the issue came up when Young Buck, who was a former G Unit member, also mentioned it. He also addressed it and clarified that, he had agreed with the organizers of the show that, look, whatever treatment you are giving 50 Cent, I want to get the same. So obviously he hated the fact that, 50 was getting special treatment and things like that. And he felt, you know what, you're in my country and you're coming to perform in my country and you're getting this presidential treatment. Why are the artists in my country not being treated on a similar level or something like that? And he felt the need to maybe do something, which I felt maybe he took it too far. I wouldn't necessarily call it beef, like you said. I don't think it's beef. Maybe it's just ego on Idris's end as well. He was trying to, I guess, take a stand, but I don't necessarily agree with the way he took it, because if you recall, the beef started, whatever we will call it, started gradually, because I remember the show started off in Abuja. They were supposed to talk Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, I think. And he made some snide comments after 50 Cent performed. Something around the lines of 50 is the biggest in America, or is big in America, me, I'm big in Nigeria, something like that. Just making snide comments along the line until it escalated into the whole airport scenario, the aircraft scenario. So obviously there's something underlying there, which is the fact that he hated the fact that 50 was giving special treatment, and he was just trying to, stand up for the Nigerian space, I guess, the confidence, the ego of a Nigerian artist. You know what? Good on him. Good on him. He took a stand, but I just felt probably didn't go about it the right way. And the beef ended on arrival, if you ask me, because, 52 never really addressed it, and the whole thing just went that way.
Exactly. Like I said, the beef ended on arrival, so we can't really classify it as a major beef. But then again, it's one of those things. If you look at the Nigerian music industry and the history, those are one of those iconic or major moments that you cannot say you won't talk about, because whether we like it or not, that moment, changed a lot of things. I mean, number one, it affected Idris' career without any doubt. It affected his career, and also number two, Nigerian artists started becoming more vocal about how they are being treated by these complaints and all of that. I mean, today we have a place whereby a Nigerian artist who wants to perform a show, and you probably send a plane to go and pick up the Nigerian artist, which is something you're not used to have before. Again, if you're inviting American artists to come and perform in Nigeria before, American artists will be somewhere and Nigerian artists will be probably somewhere, and they will not sit together and all of that. But now everybody is in the same place getting, if not the same, almost the same treatment. Maybe Idris said, I want you to say I'm in my fatherland, I have to stand up and fight. Maybe he did it the right way or the wrong way, but still, you cannot neglect the effect of what it did in today's history.
You are absolutely right. Absolutely, absolutely. Now they even want to come. They want to come because we've built our name to that point where they want to come to Nigeria as well to expand their horizon. So please, I guess we'll not be overstretching it if we said Idris walked so the rest of you can run, He did the groundwork
Definitely,
for these guys
definitely,
here.
definitely. There's one thing I constantly used to say, and that's what I'm going to end this whole Idris and 50 Cent thing is there's no way you want to talk about the growth of the Nigerian music industry today that the name Idris Abdulkarim will not pop up more than twice in your conversation. If it doesn't pop up, then you don't know the history of Nigerian music. That's just as simple as it's going to be.
Yep.
Now, being a female, I mean, I've tried to rack my head and I can't really remember. So let me ask you, maybe you can remember. Is there any female beef that you can actually remember? And aside from the old internet, Tiwa Savage and Yemi Alade own, we are still going to get into that. But like, is there like a major beef, maybe like a Sasha dissing Red MC, or like a Mocheda, dissing Buki or something like that? I can't remember. So help me out, please.
Do you know, a part of me feels like there is, but to be honest with you, I cannot recall there being anything. I'm trying to remember everything or everyone that have been involved in this whole thing. Buki, all of them, even those that are no longer rapping, Sasha P, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall there being anything. If there was anything, it must have been low-key, but maybe my memory fails me, to be honest. I don't. Was there ever a fight? The only one thinking
that's the thing. I also can't recall. That's the thing. Maybe like you rightly said, maybe if there was any, it wasn't major. Maybe dead on arrival or just on a low-key. Or maybe, or just maybe, because the popularity and the eyes and the interest on female artists back then was not much. So probably it was ignored and people didn't take note of it.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. And also we didn't have social media that much back then. So,
True.
nothing really got right.
True. But even without social media, we knew the beef between Ruggedman and Idris, even without social media, between Ruggedman and Mode9, even without social media, because it was contained in their song.
Yeah, that's right.
Popular female beef. Yeah, I don't recall. Apart from our new age, Tiwa Savage and Shei or Tiwa Savage and Yemi Alade beef, which I really don't also consider that much as a beef, to be honest. But really, back in the day, and the female acts or rappers, at least, I know even got together then a lot. There was quite a few projects that they did together that at least rappers came together, females came together. So, I really didn't know of any major beef though.
Beef back from the likes of Red MC to Sasha P to Buki to even what's her name, Blaze, and all of those female MCs. Even talk about Mocheda and all of them like that. Chidima, you can't really recollect. But until we fly back up until we have Tiwa Savage, we have Shei, we have Victoria Kimani, we have Yemi Alade, and the center figure among all of this name has to be Tiwa Savage. So Tiwa Savage goes by the nickname, quote unquote, African Bad Girl. Yemi Alade goes Mama Africa.
Mama Africa.
And like I said, we cannot really call the two beefing because if you look at it, they've not literally taken a shot at each other at any particular point in time, right? And it's more like the fans always trying to pitch the both of them together, which I honestly do not understand why or where that is coming from. Maybe on a low-key, there must have been one or two things that were said that we never really heard of. But in the whole grand scale of things, there hasn't been anything. But I think the major one, at least the one that happened recently, has to be between Shei and Tiwa Savage, where there was a video of them clashing at the salon.
The salon, yeah.
I saw that, I'm like, wow, these two are trying to get physical, and they could have gotten physical. Can you actually recall what really happened between Shei and Tiwa Savage and how it got to that point?
I may not know the origin, but I definitely remember being, snide comments being made, especially at some point where Victoria Kimani too was involved, where Victoria Kimani was accusing maybe Tiwa of being an Ashawo or words. I don't remember it verbatim, but I know that there has been that tension between Shei and Tiwa, and then Victoria Kimani to go on board being on maybe Shei's side or something against Tiwa before it now escalated to the part where they almost got physical at the salon. If I have the story right, which I don't think I do, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't want to say jealousy, but I just feel like there was never something concrete that you could hold on to say this was what caused it.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like there might be, a little bit of jealousy. And now, what I'm about to say, please, everybody listening to this, what I'm about to say, there is no fact, no single fact in what I'm about to say. It's all based on rumors. Rumors. Don't say Afisonova said, it's not a fact though. So there was a rumor that said the origin of the beef between Sheishe and Tiwa Savage, the origin, based on rumor, it is Wizkid. That is the origin. That is the rumor that I had. Because at the point, Wizkid and Sheishe were cool. I mean, they even had a song together. Then Tiwa Savage came into the picture and the whole story changed, right?
Yeah,
and then the thing got much more escalated when what is called it? Kiss Daniel dropped this his song FU, and Sheishe went ahead to jump on that song and had to call out, Tiwa Savage, something about, you want to snatch my man, but I'm not savage. I pay my bills and all of that. And Victoria Kimani also came in, and she came in hard. She was like, oh, you're approaching for the five and you're calling yourself African bad girl. You're a grandma. We all know you sleep around and, stuff like that. And it was becoming all messy. But in the midst of all of this, Tiwa Savage hardly said anything. And probably that was why the beef did not really go beyond. I mean, there was no reply musically from Tiwa Savage. She just maybe put out one or two one or two tweets or crypt message, on her handles, and she didn't really go that far. But then to the salon issue, the gist about the salon issue was like, Tiwa was in the same salon with Sheyi. I think Sheyi came in last, or I can't remember who came in last, but it was Sheyi that walked up to Tiwa Savage and tried to like, hey, what's up and all of that. And Tiwa looked at her and like, no. Don't give me this vibe like we are cool. I mean, all over the internet, you go around talking trash about me. And now you see me in public. You want to act as if, no, we are cool. You want to talk the trash right now. Let us trash out everything, right? And that was where the whole issue just, got escalated. But if we are going to be honest, the female beef in the music industry has been, let's say, second to none compared to the male beef in the music industry. So let's just go back to that and let me just, ask you this. So aside from the ones we've spoken about, the 50 Cent and other, which other beef stood out for you, or you say, this beef, I can never forget, lie?
It has to be my favorite, my all-time faves. I mean, Rugged Man Mode 9. I can't forget Vector MI. I can't forget MI Kelly Handsome, please, because I definitely recall MI song. I recall the beef song, the whole Kelly, you could clap for yourself. Well done.
Well done.
I remember this very line. The only Kelly that I know, Kelly Rowland, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So yeah, I definitely recall MI Kelly Hunter, because those were one of the moments that shaped, my childhood and growing up. Like, okay, beef is happening in the Nigerian industry, and of course, Rugged Man, because at some point it was almost like Rugged Man's name was everywhere. He did with Nice, I think he did with Mode 9, and I was like, and at some point Kelly Handsome stood out because it looks like he was just giving it to everybody. MI, he had a One Day Cool and more hits too at some point, I believe. I definitely recall Mode 9, Rugged Man, MI, Kelly Handsome, who else? Idris Abdulkarim and Temptation. Okay, of course, there's stood out. Well, I just can't forget my rappers, those four guys, Rugged Man, Mode 9, MI, Vector, because at some point I was enjoying it, and at some point it became like, okay, get over it, we're done. Especially with the most recent MI and Vector's one that happened like 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, can our faves just get themselves together and use these energies to give us a good track together, or a joint EP set? Sometimes it's heartbreaking as a fan of these two guys to just see them go at each other and be like, oh gosh, I know what your energy combined can produce. Work together, guys. Drop this whole beef. You're older than that now. Like the new wave guys been doing it. You people don't grow.
Again, like I said, beef is one thing you cannot take out of the industry. And for us music fan, I think it's something that we kind of like though. So Vector is taking shot at MI is taking shots at Vector. I was like, oh yeah, come on. We begin to get those lines.
I just feel like this track have another form of sweetness to them. Do you understand? Like, these tracks, they sweet to hear again. Like, we enjoy it. That's why sometimes these days it feels like it's even the fans that are projecting the beef that is not there. Some of these artists don't
Exactly.
really have like beef. It's just the fans that are calling for it and they're clamoring for it. And they're low-key causing tension that is not supposed to be there amongst these artists. And it's because we enjoy it. You know, it's human loving drama. We just love drama. And these tracks, if you ask me, they be sweet. Sometimes past some original songs safe.
True, true. I'm going to talk about one beef that I feel like you should be aware of that I didn't mention in the first part of this conversation, and it was the beef between Terry G, AY.com, Marlon Spicy, and what's his name right now? Side One. The
Oh,
one between
shit.
the one between Terry G and Marlon Spicy. If you can remember, 1,005 naira, bling bling with some boys, them they were.
I vaguely remember that one, but I definitely remember Ewa.com and Terry G.
Okay,
And I
okay.
remember side one at some point. Gosh, my memory don't fail me. I definitely remember. But Terry G and Ewa.com definitely stands out because, you know, it was after Passing Your Love.
Definitely.
After the song. And the whole thing went the way it went. And now they said they made up. It was just one of those beefs that I felt did not last long. Because if you ask me, they both went silent. Even when you ask them about it, they would be like, oh, no, nothing or something. So it just didn't really stick out that much, if you ask me. But I think it was sweet. It was sweet to watch because, you know, when you've done a song together and you're coming out differently, people are like, what is going on? But at some point, it just didn't go on for that long. I don't think it didn't go out for that long for me to find it notable, honestly.
The issue between AY.com, Terry G, and Side One was, basically about songs and all of that. It was Terry G that actually produced Pass Me Your Love. It was also Terry G that produced, what's the name of that Side One song now? Going one by one, two by two. Maybe now, and I think there were the points where Terry G was going on shows and he would be on show and he'll be performing those songs.
Performing it. Yep.
Yeah, and then the issue came up like, guy, now me get some now. Why you go to producer? And they had these big moments where they will come at each other and stuff like that. And I think at the point, the one between Terry G and Side One almost got physical. I can't really remember, but it was one of them that almost got very, very physical. But the one between Terry G and Marlon Spicy, that one happened based on the fact that, it was the time of Terry G when Terry G was doing his Street Madness all about. And there was this line, it was like, me, I know be Marlon Spicy. I only stop on the fourth bar, over. And when Marlon Spicy had it, was like, really? And Marlon Spicy used the same beat, the same Free Madness instrumental, and went to say 1,005 naira, bling bling with some boys, then they were 1,005 naira.
I remember that
song. That song was the reply to what Terry G said in his song.
Okay,
and I'm not even gonna lie you. Like you rightly said about sometimes the beef songs being more interesting and more sweet. That song 1,005 naira till date remains one of the biggest song of Marlon Spicy.
Yeah.
Because that was like Marlon Spicy.
Yeah.
The song went everywhere. Like Mr. Bling Bling, Mr. Bling Sing, it was crazy. Just to say the least, it was crazy. But again, that also didn't last long because Marlon Spicy, after that, he couldn't do anything else. And Teddy G came out to say, it was not his intention to actually beef Marlon Spicy. That to him, he didn't even say that the beef. He just used it as a line in his song. It wasn't more than that. It was kind of took back when Marlon Spicy came out with the whole beef track and all of that. But that is all.
That's maybe interview or something as well. That saying where he was saying he didn't intend to beef him or something like that. So yeah, I think it was one of those situations where I just felt that Terry situation with whoever was not really like a proper because everybody just went silent after the first round. And that was it.
Yeah. All right. Now to the next question I want to ask, and this is where we are going to use it to wrap up the whole conversation, right? Mention your top 3 beef songs and why.
You put me on the spot. Goodness gracious. I think Beef is definitely number 1. MI's Beef is number 1 on that list. For some reason, I can't get that song out of my head. What's that Rugged Man song? Remind me of the title.
Why you gonna rap like Mumu?
Yes. Thank you very much. And of course, Mode 9's I'm bad with titles because it's been a long time. Modern's on to Rogedi.
Yeah, I
Oh
also can't
gosh,
remember the name of the song right about now. I definitely know the song that you're talking about.
I feel
I
like these
thought,
new guys don't beef like the way those old guys did. Do you get? We rarely hear
yeah,
diss tracks these days, apart from when Victor came out recently with them, MI's,
I mean,
whatever now. But
thank God for Vector and MI. They were the one that's kind of revived the old beefing culture again. Because these days,
honestly,
what we have is this what is Reminisce? Reminisce like to call the internet gangsters and keyboard warriors.
exactly. So really, it's hard for me to remember any new age guys dropping these tracks apart from Vector. But those days, those guys didn't used to joke with those their replies, man. And now you just be cracking up like, gosh, these people really went back to record this track, and it's so fun. Like I don't know, but now as a mature woman, I'm just like, these people should sleep. It's okay. But then, how about we enjoy this thing? We enjoyed those diss tracks big time.
Okay, so lastly, let me just put you on the spot since we've spoken about the new generation and all of that. Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido. Do you ever see them do a song together?
So I think yes, it will happen because for some reason I feel like all of these guys they like money more than anything. So if they see that prospect for like money coming out of this thing, they will do it together. And I also think that there's no like any solid underlying drama or anything really responsible for these guys to be beefing. It's just fans most of the time. Fans are the ones instigating them against each other. They may just forget about it and move on from it at some point and feel like, you know what, we're stronger together than we are beefing each other. So yes, honestly, I actually see it happening. I feel like it will happen because these days it takes nothing to reconcile all these artists. Before you know, they'll be just, we've made up. So I definitely see a collab coming, and I feel like that joint or track or whatever they will do will be massive.
Okay. Yeah, like you rightly said, it's going to be massive. And it's on that note that we are going to end the second part of this conversation. Let me just again put this out there. You guys wanted a series, and that's what I intend to do. So after this one, there's also going to be another conversation still talking about beef. But this time around, should I let the cat out of the bag, or let me just allow you people to guess? No, let me just allow you people to keep guessing. Don't let me let the cat out of the bag. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls of the Cha Cha Nation, we are come to an end of another episode of the Cha Cha Let's Talk Music series on the Cha Cha Music Review podcast. And you can call this the part 2 of the beef in the Nigerian music industry. And oh yes, in case you are hearing a voice on the net, that is the voice of the newest member of the Cha Cha Nation. So let me just quickly say that, Sadia, thank you very much for being here, and also thank you to our newest member too for being of the podcast. He's a superstar, first baby to be on the podcast.
He is responding, and thank you for having us. I think we didn't mention a few. At the top of my head, Sauce-Kid. Yeah, I definitely remember Sauce-Kid season going about it with one or two people, maybe Iceberg Sling.
Godwan and I bustling. Yeah.
Yeah, so season 2 was, some dramatic nigga at some point. But this conversation is continuous. So,
Okay.
What? Let me let you enjoy those conversations with other people. It's been nice discussing this. It brings back a lot of memories. I feel like going back to my record or my classic music and just exploring those big songs again. I actually should have listened to those big songs again. It would have put me in a solid mood again.
Yeah, no problem. You can always go back and do that. Once again, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I really do appreciate. And to everybody listening to me out there, I mean, you know what to do. Like we said, this is a continuous conversation. You can also drop your comments on which musical beef in Nigeria or even across Africa that stood out for you, the one that you cannot forget, the one that you were surprised happened, and all of that. And let us continue the conversation. Where you can reach me on all my social media platforms at Cha Cha Music Pod. The Cha Cha is spelled CHACHA. Cha Cha Music Pod across all social media platforms. With that being said, till I come away with another episode, my name will always remain a Feast Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. Remember, keep the energy, keep it 100, and keep it positive. Peace out.
Yeah, one time, 2 time for the Cha Cha Geng. Give me the Cha Cha Geng. Rockin' with the best, the Cha Cha Geng. Give me the Cha Cha Geng. Alayela with Cha Cha Geng. Give me the Cha Cha Geng. What's my body, Cha Cha Geng. Give me the Cha Cha Geng, Cha Cha Geng.
What's Magbo? A fist Nova. We Cha Cha Geng, Cha Cha Nation. Thank you. One love.